team ban. Ehome's turn to ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back again to the Shanghai Dota 2 Open. We're going to be taking a look at our lower bracket finals. We started from the bottom, now we're here. Group stages we're done through. We had 8 teams that moved on into the bracket. And now we're down to 3. CDEC Gaming facing off against ehome. The winner is going to move on to face Newbie. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by Tsunami. 643. Tsunami, how you doing? You excited for some Chinese Dota 2 action?
Dude, like you said, we start from the bottom, now we're here, and all my teams are here. I actually recognize some names now. We got the year on CDEC, you know, at least like almost half the year on CDEC. I think that these aren't their real names, are they?
No, they're not. For a couple of them, they are. That's the interesting thing about it. They had June and September that are on their team, so the rest of them just wanted to sort of throw in with the rest of their ilk and make a little bit of a joke about it. But yeah, it's a little bit of a different team. Flyby is the other one. They've got Shade and Demons. That's the full roster. And we'll see how they do. I've been really impressed pretty consistently by Shade, who's tagged up here as Feb. He is been playing out of his mind this tournament, just putting the team on his back.
And how are you telling them apart? Please don't tell me it's from their avatars.
No, it's not. You know what? I actually have a cheat sheet because I'm looking back over through like their roster is the big thing. That's all it really comes down to. So there's, okay. I mean, yeah, the favorite anime characters. I know all of their favorite anime characters. So
that's what the cheat sheet is, right? It's basically just their My Anime lists printed out.
Totally, absolutely. But yeah, it's you know, they love to express themselves in their own individual ways, shown by their half the year roster as well. But ehome now, they're going to be taking the Drow Ranger. These old men, they don't really like to mess around with any of that newfangled stuff. They're just going to go for what's tried and true. The Drow Ranger, the hero of like the past 2 patches, I would say ish. It's been around for a while.
Yeah, and much like many of the people who bring her up in conversations, it's kind of heartbreaking to see her without her partner in crime, Visage. But she's just so strong that you don't need anyone else. You just need a couple of people with attack range over 140, and that's all you need to make a competent team with a Drow Ranger first pick these days.
No, it's totally true. And I mean, Drow is it defines the way that you play the game. And I don't know how many games we've watched where one team is falling really further and further ahead, and then just that one team fight, that's all you need, and suddenly you're down 2 barracks. And man, ehome pulling no punches. They thought about it for a while. They decide, you know what? We're just going to run that Medusa.
Ehome's turn to ban.
In first phase, I'm impressed. Usually, I guess teams like to leave a little bit of an opening in terms like, you know, maybe they'll go for the Morphling, or maybe they'll just grab a whole bunch of other ranged supports, but straight up showing their cards, ehome. And neither of these heroes are particularly strong against Lifestealer and Slardar. I guess Dusa is relatively good compared to Drow Ranger, at least against Lifestealer specifically. Stonegaze is not the easiest thing for Lifestealer to deal with, but that's assuming that you even get a chance to cast it whenever these Nakes bombs are all over you.
I know, it's true. Well, I mean, that's really going to be the question is how does CDEC want to take these engagements? Because, I mean, now you're kind of forced into this awkward situation. And for anybody that's just watching, this is what's so potent about this combination of Drow Ranger Medusa is that Drow, your tempo starts going really quickly. And I remember a couple of games before TI where Wings would run a Medusa Drow and then take Shadow Demon also. Obviously, that's been banned out this time. And they would take your barracks at 20 minutes. Like, it can still happen in that way with the Drow Ranger lineup, but they also have that added late game insurance where Medusa can just go for, like, if she even wants to, the Lincoln's Manta and do a lot of damage, and suddenly, like, you can go for those defensive items that people don't really like because you have that natural steroid. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe even they think about going back for some supports that accentuate that further, a la Bloodlust or something along those lines.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily come down specifically to the heroes themselves, because obviously Precision Aura is a big part of making Dusa viable, but the introduction of Dragonlance made a big difference as well, because like you said, it's not necessarily Dusa doesn't necessarily need to go offensive or defensive items depending on the game. But a Dragonlance is a perfect compromise between the two. It tanks her up, gives her some more viability in terms of sieging towers, and obviously the range is just great.
Totally, and that's what you need out of this hero is a little bit of extra range. CDEC are going to run the Keeper of the Light. We saw some shenanigans yesterday. I don't know if you happen to catch those games or not. Keeper of the Light.
Tell me.
Okay, for anybody that's watching this, you might have read the patch notes. You might have just seen, okay, little Keeper of the Light change. I don't really care that much about it. You know, mana leak, all right, cool. They nerfed it slightly. What they didn't highlight is the fact that Blinding Light is insane now. The radius on this, and remember, of course, a radius from our geometry days is half the distance of diameter, so it's half of the circle, basically, is 675. The radius of a black hole is 420. So think about 50% larger black hole blinding light. Pushback is enormous, and you basically can't miss with this spell anymore. Particularly against a right-click oriented draft with ehome, we're going to see some shenanigans, I think, with this Keeper of the Light.
So you mean to tell me that 125 unit bonus will go both ways, turning it into a 250 overall AoE increase over the previous 400?
That's correct. That is what we're going to be seeing. It's very large.
Oh my god.
10 seconds.
Very
No,
large.
I saw some, because I haven't gotten a chance to play Keeper. I was spamming Keeper at the beginning of this patch because I knew he was on the cusp of me being called a coddle picker, and so I got my jollies in early on, and I haven't played him since, but I saw some screenshots, and it basically looks like a clockwork flare now.
Yeah, it's enormous. It's really crazy, and we'll take a look at it too, because the other thing about it is that you can. The thing that's really nice about it is that you can also cast it from far away. The range is pretty significant, but it's not the only hero that's been taken. That's something to keep your eyes on. We're going to see some of those shenanigans later, I'm sure, but against a right-click oriented team, which this really looks to be, that they're going to have to invest in some BKBs relatively early if they want to deal with that. Bane, Faceless Void, as well as that Elder Titan have all been taken. But what do you think about these picks now?
I'm kind of curious about this Bane pick. I mean, Bane was kind of a very stable support. I guess during TI you could have just kind of run Bane whenever you want. Initially he was kind of being picked because he was a great combo with Mirana, who is still in the pool right now, so it's not out of the realm of possibility for ehome to maybe also take a Mirana on top of their picks. But even just as a hero independently, I think Bane is fine. He kind of is more level dependent than other supports, and he may struggle for that in this lineup because Drow Ranger is also heavily level dependent. And I suppose that Bane could go in the offlane with Void, but I don't really think that's where they want to put him. But I think that he's a strong support. Elder Titan, obviously amazing follow-up with Keeper of the Light. Great at, counter initiating against Chrono, which ET was picked before Void was picked, but that just shows that ET was a pragmatic pick that could fit against a lot of comps. And then Void, they needed an offlane. I, again, can't really say I can justify the Void pick that much, aside from being able to shut down the two melee cores of Dire with the Lifestealer and the Slardar. Maybe mainly for counter initiation. Maybe he's going to be going stuff like Lincoln's to just purely Blink and Chrono stuff, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will indeed. Bounty Hunter is going to be the last pick. I really would have liked that Ogre there. I kind of like the idea that you said of the Mirana too, but I guess that ehome not really rating that hero as much, and we're going to be seeing a last pick sniper. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, this isn't even in response to an OD, which is the main way we've seen the sniper come back. Oh, Lord, what has happened? What do you think about
exotic?
What do you think about this with the Bounty Hunter in the game? Because he can get right on top of him. Like, you probably aren't going to be able to find a kill on the bounty, but you can at least disrupt him a little bit, right?
Well, this is what the plan that you were saying with picking Dusa in general. Dusa has always been billed as the late game carry, and everyone's like, oh, okay, you pick her because you want the game to go 80 minutes long. But nowadays, with the Drow Ranger, with items like Dragonlance, you can start taking Raxes at 20 minutes, and a Bounty Hunter just helps accelerate that even that much more, with assuming that he's able to find levels, because right now I think that ehome's draft is like the textbook definition of greed right now, and if everything works out, they're going to look like geniuses. But if things slow down, it slows down for their entire team, and it's going to be like a real chore to make sure that every hero on their team gets what they want.
You know, I'm going to say one of the other things that we've really had shown the power of in this tournament, at least for me, was how strong a Coddle Ags can be for sieging that high ground. And I'm looking at this lineup for CDEC. If you have a sniper also with the Dragonlance who's going to be able to start taking or at least dealing pot shot damage to tier 3 towers, there's a good chance that you can find some kills there. And you know, as you're talking about punish the greed a little bit, in my eyes, Lanham is going to spot out the Elder Titan and trade a couple of right clicks. I am getting a little bit of lag, so after this initial little thing, I'm going to try a quick little reconnect. Would you care to do some radio Dota for me, though?
Of course, I'd love to.
All right.
You know what? I'll do something that people have not been done for quite a while. I'm gonna go over these rosters because man, I used to enjoy that, but ever since the runes came out at 0 minutes, it just kind of died down. So we got old 11 on the Faceless Void. We got old Lanham on the Bane. We got Guardian on the Bounty Hunter. We got Sylar on the Drow Ranger, and we got old Chicken on the Medusa. And as for the actual rune fight, Void is really wanting to go in for this, has to time walk out against 4 heroes, and Lifestealer's still pawing away at him, and oh, there's the mana leak. There's the mana leak that everyone said got so nerfed, and well, Coddle is down to, you know, 200 mana off that 350 starting, but it's still a great spell, and it's a great spell against someone like a Faceless Void who really needs his mana at all stages of the game, because Time Walk is the only reason that this dude is a viable offlaner right now.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be a problem. You need to keep his eyes on that. Make sure that old 11 doesn't get punished pretty heavily. I'm back in the game. It looks like the lag has settled down slowly, so thank you all for allowing us to get that sorted. And mid lane, it's going to be a Drow Ranger versus a Sniper. There are not going to be a lot of spells cast in this lane, I don't think. But it's a possibility, I guess.
That was a great Rubik game, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness. Well, Feb versus Sylar here. Does the range really matter that much, or should we just be looking towards these other lanes for stuff to be happening?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about things happening in this lane. Both of them have slows with the shrapnel and the frost arrows, but if they want to commit to a kill, it's going to take forever. It's going to be like death by 1,000 spoons, so one of the supports will almost definitely rotate before anything dramatic happens.
All right. Well, meanwhile, up top, the Keeper of the Light was able to outward the Bounty Hunter. I think that the Bounty did happen to spot this Observer that was placed over here, though, so they might be able to take that down later. June is going to face off against Old Chicken with a little bit of a battle going on in the jungle as well with September and Old Lanham. To me, these two players are probably the strongest out of each individual team. I feel like Lanham and September have both been playing really exceptional Dota. Old Lanham obviously for a lot longer, and September to me was the strongest part of that old LGD roster, and it was part of the reason why I don't think that they ended up doing as well at TI. But top lane, 11 trading hits with November, needs to be careful. He might end up going down now, needs to time walk, goes forward, trying to kill off November. Is he going to be able to find it though? I think he might have overstepped his bounds a little bit. He does have another one, 18 seconds, salves up, but so did the Lifestealer, and old 11, overextension. They find that kill.
Oh man, he was screaming for a bash for like the past 30 seconds. I can just imagine the voice comms right now, but it was a beautiful arms race between the two. A lot of people know that whenever an anti-mage blinks towards you, it's, you know, usually in your best interest to immediately change direction, and same thing can be applied to a Faceless Void. They were both down to 1 HP, but Void was able to just make that slight split-second ankle-breaking maneuver, salved up, and got the kill on the Void, and he would have gotten a bash and would have gotten a kill on Keeper if that had happened, but you can't bank on RNG.
Sylar getting a little bit of help from his friend, the Bounty Hunter. Guardian is going to be able to pick up that Bounty Rune and head back in again. They do have their Sentry Ward out and online, so this is not going to be able to get taken down easily. This is going to be a pretty frustrating lane from here on out, I would imagine, for Feb. And I mean, do you need to start thinking about bringing somebody else to help him?
If Bounty Hunter decides to commit a lot of time, I think Feb made the right move. It's probably, like, this Bounty Hunter is almost positive that Feb does have a Sentry Ward, but Feb didn't harass the Bounty Hunter to, like, really reveal that he knew. So this Bounty Hunter might continue killing time mid before he figures it out, but it looks like he's settled he knows that Feb's probably a lot safer than he'll be able to get into kill range with, and he's gonna head on down block.
Ooh, Nightmare gonna get committed now. Guardian has rotated back in. June is gonna have to run away from there, but it looks like September should be going down. They do find that kill. Drow Ranger Aura, pretty good for that bonus damage.
Yeah, this Bane is hitting with 73 damage right now, and went for boots first, which is, I think, the right call. It's gonna be a poor game for this Bane, assuming that he doesn't show up to a bunch of track kills, which he's really hoping for. But this guy is going to have to support like crazy with the kinds of picks that he has. Vision is so important this game.
Oh,
And old 11 up top, gonna go down.
Lordy.
Out of mana because Keeper of the Light still has Mana Leak. Contrary to popular belief, it's still a spell. You just need to buy a few more clarities now.
Nicely done. Sorry I missed that one, ladies and gents, but it's fine. Don't even worry about it. Mana Leak did come through a little bit earlier. I was going to comment on that like he was completely out, but he keeps on sticking around. It feels like if we're playing this lane possibly a little bit greedier than you would have hoped. September, meanwhile, is going to make the rotation up top, and it looks like Bounty will not choose to follow him there.
Yeah, but that ward got spotted out that he just placed, so... Carl does not have any sentries yet. Elder Titan also does not have any sentries, but there's no rush. They know where it is, hopefully, and they'll take care of it soon. And now Guardian kind of prowling, following this Coddle around, but he doesn't really know where to go right now. There aren't very many good targets. He did a great job killing bot on the Elder Titan, giving Medusa a little bit more space, and now he's going to head on mid.
Yeah, keeping on trading those hits. He did lose his clarity because of it, but not going to be able to continue that as the Sentry Ward has already been placed down and going to be able to right-click him there. So I will say that as far as the off lanes are concerned, you take a look here, Slardar, already level 4 at this point. Faceless Void's been able to get a good deal as well. Do you think that one of these offlaners is going to be able to start making moves? Like, can we see a Faceless Void rotation? I imagine Slardar can't do anything until Blink, but what do you think about this Void?
This Void is... he may be dying a lot, but I think it's the right call because he's keeping these supports busy watching Lifestealer. These supports are both great at rotating. Coddle and Elder Titan can very easily make stuff happen if they go to any other lane. But they can't leave this Faceless Void alone. And
he does have a time walk, but in a lot of trouble. Goes up to the high ground. TP's trying to get out. Is going to get stomped. Old 11, right-click to death. Oh, man. Coddle's going to get this one as well, I believe. And yeah, this is frustrating. You have 5 seconds left. He ends up going down. Oh.
Oh man, I wish I could have seen the combat log for that one because I saw a 0-0 and then I saw a bunch of Z's over Faceless Void's head.
Oh, Guardian. He does get mana leaked, and Coddle was having to deal with and contend with that haste rune. We'll see if Bounty Hunter wants to go back in.
The ward that Guardian had placed did end up getting countered, and again, still Feb has this sentry ward that's been quietly monitoring this lane and it hasn't gotten countered yet, and Bounty Hunter just, he doesn't really know what to do, I feel.
Well, it's still, I mean, the big thing for me that always feels like is if Bounty Hunter is able to get his levels, it's going to end up being okay. Like, he's level 3 at this point. Do you think, though, that, like, they're going to be able to find kills once they start to make the rotations with track? Is that something that this lineup from ehome can do?
I think track will be used more as like a defensive maneuver almost, like, because right now obviously ehome, they would love to get farm on all of their heroes, but not in the context of fights, more in just the context of just farming. And if they group up for pushes, that's great. You can also get gold in the context of towers as well, but in a full-on 5v5 fight, ehome is not going to be able to take that until at least like 20 more minutes or so, I would say.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, Feb is just going to keep on farming. He's got his phase boots online. The sniper able to out DPS the Drow 35-19 to the 31-10. So doing a pretty good job in that mid lane. A little bit surprising considering the Drow is going to have that bonus range, but I guess just or rather bonus damage, I should say. But I guess that's really great attack animation for sniper is working out for him.
Yeah, that and the fact of this, I guess, the presence of the Bounty Hunter, he needs to play a little bit more conservatively than he'd like to. Like, he can't go past the river at any point. And so, all things considered, he is farming exceptionally well. And what I was saying originally about the Void is that I think even though he has died 3 times, it's the right call because the supports are having to watch this Lifestealer. And you'll see, like, Caudle had gone, you know, to another lane once. He went to mid to go counter some runes and give Sniper some chocolate magic. Elder Titan really hasn't been able to do much, and as a result, Medusa's gone pretty much uninhibited, and she's, I guess, somewhat falling behind the Lifestealer in terms of CS because she can't really go into the jungle, but Medusa with free farm will grow to be a much larger threat than a Lifestealer with free farm.
Yeah. Going to be building into the Aquila next, I'm sure, as she keeps on just taking a couple blasts from this Caudle. I do like that this Caudle's been able to move down here and soak up a little bit of farm himself while Slardar keeps on going back and getting himself topped up in terms of his regen and everything. Like, this is something that we are going to be seeing is Caudle playing a pretty big role in these team fights as well. Recall, obviously huge, and just probably have to wait for that Blink Dagger up on the Slardar, but the rotation in Sylar doing a bit of damage. They're actually going to dive for this, and they have found Guardian with the dust, and this should be a kill. Amp damage there as well. They get the Nightmare, but that was never going to stop.
Yeah, Drow Ranger was participating in the fight, made a wise choice to back out as soon as Caudle had passed that threshold that he is officially behind his tier 1 tower, and it was right time, right place for this Slardar to be. Ends up getting the kill on the Bounty Hunter. It sets him back a little bit, but he's still the same level as the Elder Titan, so I think it's fine. They don't really need to get kills early on ehome. It's just, if they can find something great, if not, whatever.
I will say also now, I'm looking at CDEC's draft. I mean, the Lifestealer does have to worry about the Bane as the levels go up there. You're going to be able to get the Fiend script through the Rage, all that shenanigans. But the other problem that I am seeing is, like, if Bane does do that, I feel like that's why part of the reason why they took the Sniper. He can mess up old Lanham pretty significantly, I think, either just through the straight-up right kicks or through Assassinate. Throughout the whole course of it. So I want to see how this Bane develops his build. I almost think that he's going to need like a lot of farm as the game goes on, and it's just frustrating getting assassinated across the river as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's why I was concerned that Bane is a great pick in terms of his spells, but if he can find farm, it really pushes the hero to like a kind of a much safer zone. Like right now, it would be great if he could get like an Aether Lens or a Glimmer Cape, or, I mean, in the dream world, a BKB, but none of those things are really going to be on the table for him. He's going to be limited to just pure the experience that he gets and just hoping that he has good positioning for ideal Fiend scripts without getting harassed by the entire Dire team.
Well, Medusa, after the Aquila phase boots, is now going back into that Lincoln's. We talked about this during the draft. The nice part about having the Drow Medusa is that you don't have to worry about going for more damage on Medusa. You can purely build those defensive items, play for the super late game, and it's going to pretty much be okay. So I'm wondering now, for CDEC, do you think that they feel like they have to get stuff done? They're bringing the Lifestealer in to, I guess, maybe go for an Infest Bomb or something? What's the plan here?
I think they're going to wait until Slardar gets his Blink Dagger. And you can see that Lifestealer is almost deferring farm to this Slardar to an extent. Lifestealer has all that he needs. He has his Blightstone, he has his Armlet. He's ready to rock, but he had free farm the entire time, so you better hope that he's ready to rock. Slardar was laning against Medusa, not the easiest lane for Slardar, especially whenever there's a Bane just roaming around at all times threatening. So until the Nake's Bomb comes online, CDEC is just going to play it cool.
Feb has himself a couple of little observer wards as well. See where he wants to place those. Top lane has been left alone for September up here, who almost has his level 6 completed. We still have not seen almost anything. Only 5 kills in 12 minutes. A much more slow-paced game, but invading the jungle now, CDEC are probably going to get their eyes set on that tier 1 tower as well, and we'll see if they just trade them off here, as Lanham will be cutting the creep wave as well. I wouldn't be surprised if September heads out of here.
Yeah, I don't really know. Okay, so they know the Bane is here. They probably suspect that the Bounty Hunter's in the vicinity as well, but Elder Titan is level 6, so Earth Splitter is online, and
Dire's top tower
unfortunately,
is
Slaughter
under
is still like
attack.
400 gold away from his Blink Dagger,
Radiant's
otherwise I
bottom
think they would
tower
definitely
is
defend
under
it, but
attack.
yeah, you're right. He's gonna have to go out.
Oh, Guardian, does he find him? Oh man, Shuriken was up, but
Really good
quite
timing.
quick enough.
Dire's
Yeah.
structures are
And
fortified.
a trade for tier 1 for
Radiant's
tier
bottom
1.
tower is under
I honestly
attack.
don't really know whose favor this is in. I think like it's still it's a net neutral as far as what's concerned, because
Radiant's bottom tower
I
has
guess
fallen.
Dusa and Drow get a little bit safer spots to farm, but Bounty Hunter's a little bit harder time roaming around, and same thing for the carries on Dire as well. You kind of compromise a little bit of map control for some safety.
I mean, that's the thing, really. At the end of the day, if you're taking a look at it from Radiant's point of view as well, is that tower down there is just notoriously difficult to defend. I would be surprised as well, though, if ehome did not defend a tier 2 push, because that really shuts down your ability to move in and contest Roshan eventually. But at least for now, Sylar left alone to farm the jungle, and
Dire's top
looks like
tower
Bounty is
is under
setting
attack.
up to, I'm not sure, I guess go for
Radiant's
a little bit of
middle tower is
harassment.
under attack.
The rest of his team isn't really in the area.
He knows he's safe. He has track. He just wants to get as much information as possible right now, and it's working out because Old 11 is feeling very confident farming the enemy jungle right underneath their nose. And even though they don't have all that much vision, Bounty Hunter just being able to like see all these choke points and verify that they're all empty makes ehome feel very safe, and they might actually end up going in on September here.
Yeah, that's going to be a jump. It looks like bottom. They're also going to be trying to go onto that Bane in a bit, but they do find the kill on September. First Chronosphere of the game. Meanwhile, off to the side, Lanham gets jumped upon. Lifestealer Bomb, they find it. So, simultaneous kills across the map, and it looks like they will be trading out tier 2 towers as well.
Yeah, this is the real mirror image going on. Although the one different factor is that the kill that ehome got was a 3-man track kill, whereas June and November with that Nake's bomb.
Bottom tower is under attack.
I'm just looking at the damage that this sniper is dealing. Like, he has the maxed out shrapnel, and he almost killed both the Bounty Hunter as well as the Drow. If he had mana for Assassinate at that point, I think that he would have been able to kill Drow.
Yeah, I harp on it quite a bit that Drow is... She can feel tanky at times because she has so much armor, but then you just put some magic damage on her, like Shrapnel, or like Illuminate, and all of a sudden it just doesn't seem that important, and Elder Titan will also make sure that the armor itself doesn't seem that important, because Natural Order, once maxed, and hopefully this ET can find the levels to max it before they start getting pushed in high ground, it's going to make a big difference in terms of every part of this sniper's damage output.
Oh, 11 might be dead as well. They're going to move into here. If he gets the Assassinate off, they'll have the vision. He isn't going to go for him, though. A little bit of playing on autopilot. I'm sure he was just looking around the map at the time and just didn't spot him. A little unfortunate.
Yeah, but even then, I think even with an Assassinate, Void would have probably lived. It would have taken another rotation, but this ET was in the vicinity, so it's going to have to be a little bit more wary that his jungle is not really his jungle right now.
Well, in the meantime, it looks like it's time to move in to take Roshan. I was liking the Coddle again, pushing out the bottom lane while they were sort of the rest of the side of ehome was on the opposite side of the map. We've got a Yasha now completed on the sniper as well. Man, is it just Sanj and Yasha for him? Do you think about like trying to go for that slightly more tanky route for the sniper, or how do you feel like they need to play him this game?
What have you been seeing from the sniper versus OD games typically?
Well, that's the thing that's kind of weird about it, is because it tends to just be, since it's OD, that the sniper loses. That's what I've been seeing. So they haven't really had time to accelerate into early items, as we do have a little bit of a battle. A Brew in November getting caught out. Chronosphere only catches onto one. There's the blinding light pushback I was talking about, and they're not doing any damage to him. He's going to jump back around, trying to find old 11. Look at the damage onto the Faceless Void. He's gone, and with Sniper over there hitting onto everybody, they're just going to all go down. Earthsplitter goes through onto 2. Lanham taking the Assassinate. I think that he's going to live through it, though, and now they have a secondary one in 10 seconds. No mana for it, but just look at the damage this Sniper is doing. They do end up losing the Lifestealer. A bit of a bad armlet toggle there. He can be okay with that, at least for the moment. Yeah, Medusa is going to get out of there.
Shout out to Armor Strats. This full Desolator completed, and of course the amp damage from Slardar helped them take Roche extremely quickly, and even though the follow-up fight came right after, this sniper does not have very much. But whenever he has two other heroes buffing his damage like crazy with all the minus armor, he hurts like hell from miles away, and it's not easy for CDEC to deal with it right now.
He is a monster. And that's the thing, too, is like in that entire fight, you have ehome trying to run away, and they just focus one target after the other, slows and the right clicks. It just, you can't really have that happen. I feel like if there's ever a point where ehome have to disengage, like, they're just going to lose the fight so terribly.
Sylar about to go in on October on the Coddle.
It should be a kill here. Well, meanwhile, turnaround jump. They're going to turn onto him in October. Going to live through it. Oh, a little fortuitous there as June was in the area. Oh, man.
To an extent, you kind of have to look back at that as a drow and be like, that was probably bait. It really wasn't. Like you said, it was just kind of lucky that Slardar was in the vicinity. They did set up the Nake's Bomb, like, all the way back at their tier 2 in the offlane, and they might go in on this Dusa, not yet, but you can rarely see a Coddle just mindlessly farming a lane and be like, this is probably a free kill.
So here's the other thing that I'll mention real quickly is that this is a lineup that a lot of people aren't going to be super familiar with CDEC, but this iteration sort of was the one that actually ended up winning and got the highest placement at DPL last year, which was one of the big tournaments, as they get the crush on the old chicken, and God, the right click damage is so significant. They just completely dismantle that Medusa. She's gone. There's no stone gates here. I don't think they want to take that fight. The pushback again, and the Earth Splitter on to 3. They're destroying ehome. Sylar gets jumped on. You don't want to TP there, mister, and I think that they might even lose the bounty if they're not careful. Oh, God.
The claws! They just ripped right into them! This minus armor is so much! This, I mean, like, Medusa, granted, not the tankiest hero, but come on, it took like 3 strikes from the Lifestealer to put it down to like a quarter HP, and like, Sniper wasn't even there yet, and then the Assassinate, you know, typical Sniper teamfight contribution at the end, and I mean, an ehome strategy was not built to fight at 20 minutes, and that's what they're getting forced into. It's beautifully played by CDEC.
This is what I was trying to allude to a little bit, is that these guys are all young players, relatively speaking, and they have a lot of experience under their belt in like the in-house leagues. To me, at least, it feels like a second-generation Dota 2 team that's just very, very talented. And I would be on the lookout for them because they're all really good. September, to me, was the best part of that LGD team that went to TI, who unfortunately didn't actually get to go to TI because of the visa issues. With everybody else here, particularly Shade, who's this time around playing on that Sniper, keep your eyes on this team because they are not going to go away. They're very talented.
Yeah, you hyped up September at the beginning, and that Earth Splitter during that fight got me convinced in one simple spell that this dude knows what he's doing.
That's beautiful. I mean, Coddle almost has his Ags now. He's only 400 gold away. He's literally just been hanging out in this bottom lane here, throwing out Illuminates. Like, he's built himself a little hidey hole. It looks like Guardian might be able to find him as they walk by each other, and now eyes on him. Sylar's going to be there as well.
Oh, he's bringing
someone in. He wants to fight that. That would have been big. But I think that with the Chronosphere moving in from old 11, that probably would have been their death. Oh, they didn't have Chrono for another 20. Might have been okay.
I suppose that you can't get lucky twice. If you see a Coddle burrowing himself into the trees, then he probably isn't baiting this time. Oh. But maybe the long con, because now they're going for another Nyx Bomb in the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, and Lifestealer has a DD when they come out of this. This is going to be a very dead couple of heroes. Oh, blink away! Oh, my heart be still. Be careful there, June.
You think your heart needs to be still? This dude was pumping at a high blood pressure right there. You can't go in. It was a Drow Ranger, and you really want to kill the Drow Ranger, but you're miles away from your team. You're not going to be able to pull that off unless you have an Aegis switch. Roche isn't going to be on the table for a couple more minutes, but when it is, CDEC is going to obliterate it as soon as it comes up.
Guardian now, they've got old 11 trying to build, I'm assuming, into Vlad's. October might go down here as, well, nope, there's that blinding light I was talking about. It's pretty good. It is a pretty good spell, and looks like they're going to pop him one time on the backside as the ET stomp away.
And they're keeping Nakes in here. Sometimes I feel that teams may get 2
Radiant's
tunnel
top
vision on
tower is
pulling off the
under
Nate
attack.
bomb, and they sacrifice a lot of
Dire's
farm
middle
time
tower
because, I
is
mean,
under
obviously,
Radiant's top tower
Lifestealer is
has
just
been
sitting
denied.
inside the Slardar, not really doing anything, just kind of, you know, playing his Game Boy or something, but it seems that CDEC is so far ahead at this moment that they can afford to sacrifice some time in the interest of just putting so much pressure, because as long as Slardar isn't on the map, no one on ehome feels safe.
Oh, and here's the Shadowblade initiation coming through. Can June find them? They're all grouped up. Man, ehome are terrified. This is, I mean, I guess with good reason. If any of them were walking around, they're just going to get picked off there. So ehome playing this about as well as you can. This is the type of thing that they need to do, is just try and hold the line, hold the high ground, make sure that they don't overextend, and there's still ways back for them into this game. It's only a 6,000 net worth lead.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they're feeling confident enough to even go for this tier 2 defense. You can't give it up, really, because it's your last outer tower, but it's still very vulnerable, and they don't have any vision on ehome right now. There's no vision on that cliff. Thankfully, it just now turns into daytime, so they'll feel a little bit more confident going for this defense, but they really need something to work here if they're planning on defending it, and Old 11 has his Blink Dagger completed.
They've also got to be careful, because the other thing that we didn't talk about a ton, cooldown reduction with Coddle 6 seconds, Slardar Crush is 8 seconds, so with a 2.5 second stun, you get a double crush ostensibly if you get the Chakra Magic onto the Slardar, which is something that we've seen a couple of times that CDEC seems somewhat partial to. Pretty terrifying if you ask me, and kind of can just win you a team fight.
Yeah, and October did opt for the max Chakra Magic, which sometimes against a Drow strat you'll feel obligated to go for the max Illuminate because you're, just so concerned about the push. But max Chakra, like you said, I mean, not only just for synergizing well with ally cooldowns, but a low cooldown mana leak is going to be devastating for this Dusa to deal with.
And they're all hanging out underneath some wards right now. We'll see if that gets spotted. Yeah, well, Chicken is going to be able to take that one out. So they're clearing up the trash a little bit, making sure that they aren't fighting underneath the vision. But
they're cleaning it up for right now, but October has a gem and he has his ag completed, so you better take what you can get because it's going to disappear very, very soon.
Yeah, that's a problem, definitely. I am a little surprised that we're not seeing CDEC go for another power play and even just trying to force them into a fight outside of their base, but it looks like Roshan is on the menu, and with the Ancient Black Dragon heading over this direction, I'm assuming that we'll see this taken down as November is large and in charge with the Assault Cuirass almost completed. He's actually probably going to be able to finish this off. You don't save for buyback at this point if you're a Lifestealer, right? With the Aegis, you're comfortable?
There's definitely no need. It is kind of scary that you don't have any outer tower up top, but I wouldn't be concerned about a high ground push happening that quickly.
Oh, they're recalling one. Man, the push again onto Garter. Almost found that. That was really close. But they will spot out Old 11 here now, and he should not be here right now. Why? All right, he blinks back. He's going to jump over to the other side, but do they find him? No, I'm not going to be able to get it.
It's possible that he just wasn't paying attention, that Coddle has his ag completed. The trees are no longer safe, and hopefully, yeah, Sylar is realizing that as well, piecing out up top, and it's the map is shrinking dramatically for ehome right now.
Now, this is what we've seen a couple of different times. KP used it a lot on Newbie, which is basically just whatever your offlaner is, he goes and hides in the trees down on the bottom, and then eventually you wait for somebody to show up, try and farm the lane, and then you find a kill. But seeing that there was not going to be happening, there's a lot of heroes that are heading over this direction. Oh man, this would be bold for him to go in on this.
Extremely bold.
Yeah, they're not doing it as of yet, but he will be able to find Old 11. There's the jump out. He's going to die before anything can happen. And just like that, with no more Chronosphere now, for 40 seconds, and he doesn't have buyback? All right.
Yeah, this is going to be some tier 3 damage, and it's going to be a lot of tier 3 damage because Slardar nor Lifestealer really need to commit. Slardar just needs to get, Lifestealer just needs to get one hit, put the Death So debuff, he'll stand around for the AC aura, or he could just go in also because you don't have a void to be worried about.
Yeah, they're not too
either
concerned.
way, this sniper is going to be a sieging machine.
Yeah, I mean, from the low ground, he can just keep on hitting away at it. You do have November that's in the area, and they can go for a bomb if they want to make that play with June, but at least for now, Ags on Keeper of the Light. You got Sniper hidden from the low ground. ehome, this is what the entire draft of CDEC is built up to, this high ground push. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop it.
Well, thankfully it just turned nighttime, so the viability of being able to just relentlessly siege isn't as possible. I mean, Void coming up is also an issue, but right now they have the Aegis. They can play it easy on CDEC right now. ehome is the one that they need to scrounge for whatever farm they can get, and Drow and Medusa have to share a farm in the same lane, so you know things are not going the way they want them to. And Guardian, again, as the bounty hunter, I haven't seen any track kills since the very that one up top with the very first Chronosphere.
That's true. It's been a very, very passive game for ehome. They just don't feel like they have heroes that can make stuff happen. I mean, who do they initiate with? It's a Shadowblade initiation from the Drow, or it's a Chronosphere. And besides that, like, Bane can't really get into range. He has Aether Lens now, so possibly, but I mean, look at this. They're just going to be going straight down mid, and they find the kill onto Faceless Void again. Old 11 caught out with no buyback. Oh man, this has not been his game.
And now it's a nighttime siege. It's a nighttime retake.
Radiant's middle tower.
Feb is going to keep on hitting away here. They jump forward. They are just messing with Old Chicken at this point. And he can't really go for this counterplay at all. Like, open wounds and right clicks, and he's just sort of stuck there.
Yeah, and if he wants to move, I'm sure Carl will be more than happy to oblige him with the mana leak.
Earth Splitter is going to go through as well. That's almost going to be able to kill off Old Chicken. He ends up going down. November loses the Aegis, but at the same token, Sylar, they've got vision. Look at that knockback from the Coddle. It just doesn't stop, and Lanham dropped almost to death, but they just can't even approach their barracks at this point. CDEC destroying ehome.
They're getting bullied. This is the equivalent of CDEC, like, giving them a wedgie and stuffing them into their locker right now. You can't defend against so much, like, this minus armor is doing wonders right now, because Dusa, inherently tanky whenever she has her points in mana shield, which she has maxed. She's found her levels, but it won't matter when every single hit takes away like 500 HP.
They didn't D-ward. This is a problem. Oh, Sylar jumped upon you, just fought back. That's not what's supposed to happen. And now they got a tier 3 tower. Lanham, he has Fiend's Grip, but to what end? Good game gets called. June is the one under Nightmare, but I feel like ehome are feeling it. 5-18.
This is a waking nightmare for ehome right now, and they'll be more than happy to get this game over with. This is what you get whenever you pick Dusa Drow first. I don't know how the rest of the bracket went for ehome, but surely they're gonna think a little bit more carefully before going so deep on a greedy draft next game.
Absolutely. I think one thing to mention is that this is something that I was a little bit concerned about. Throughout the other games that we were watching, CDEC felt like the top team, except when they were playing against newbie. They were measurably better, and this game sort of continued that trend. ehome are going to have to really switch things up, and hopefully they're not shaken. I mean, man, this is a really rough performance for them. And granted, it's a hard draft from CDEC. Any final thoughts before moving into our second game here?
I didn't know that CDEC were the favorites, but once you say it, I believe it.
Absolutely. They are terrifying to play up against. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was an absolute pleasure casting for y'all. Tsunami 643, as well as myself, Lyrical Dota. You can follow us on Twitter if you feel so inclined, but more importantly, continue following the Shanghai Dota 2 Open. It's the final day, lower bracket finals, best of 3, which is going to potentially conclude unless ehome can switch things up with the next game. And then later on, it's going to be a best of 5 grand finals where the winner of this series moves on to face newbie. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in a flash.